Hello everyone, it is January 13th, 1942, and we're back with another turn. Action starts out today with another ASW attack on that pesky U-boat off the coast of Ceylon. And it looks like a Japanese I-boat trying to put some torpedoes in some of my destroyers near Makassar. I believe that these are some of my forces that I had disbanded around here to hide that I now am bringing back to Sorayaba for repair. Have another ASW attack. This time Tambor is trying to launch some torpedoes at this invasion force off Guam, unsuccessfully. Okay, so this is that surface task force that I ran north up to Manado to see if I could get among the invasion task force without being caught by one of his screening surface task forces. And it works! First time that this kind of thing has worked for me this game. But successful, and look at that damage to CVE Iki. If I can take out a escort carrier today, I'll be a happy man. Oh, yeah, beautiful, beautiful damage there. Good damage to some of these other ships here. Some very high-value passenger liners, which are honestly almost as valuable to the Japanese as a escort carrier like this. So he kind of left this, Didi Kitazake goes down. He left this invasion task force a little bit exposed without a screening surface task force, and that allowed me to take advantage of the situation, run these old Dutch ships into the area, and look at that, CVE Iki goes down. Absolutely beautiful. We're going to rush through the rest of this combat and see how well we did. It looks like some minor damage to two of my Dutch destroyers here. Didi Fuyuzake is still fighting them off, doing some good damage also to my light cruiser De Ruyter. But yeah, it looks like a really good day for the Dutch Navy. Didi Fuyuzake so far is a lucky ship. Does it not? Oh, there! Just as I said that, it took some damage. This is good. This means that he didn't get away with this invasion without a scratch, as I was kind of worried about before. I didn't really manage to sink any of the ships previously, and I guess I did a little like an APD and an XK AKL, so some very small ships, but these are some very high value targets, of course. This battle is going on forever. I was worried that my Dutch surface task force would not have the aggression to really stick into the fight, but this group is doing great. I'm going to have to check out the captain of the De Ruyter, the flagship of this task force, and see what his stats are like. Sorry for the length of this battle, guys. I can't make it go any faster. But we get to watch, I guess, glorious combat here as this scrappy little Dutch task force handles this Japanese invasion fleet. I'd like to take out these liners. Like I said, these are pretty valuable to the Japanese. For the Japanese, anything that can move troops around is a valuable ship, especially early in the war, where they really need that amphibious capacity to move troops around to all the different places that they need to take. One thing that Focus Pacific does, though, is add some additional resources for the Japanese in this area. For example, LSDs, which are very valuable landing ships, adds quite a few of them to the Japanese order of battle. Destroyer Bankert is not doing so well. Heavy fires aboard that ship. The Wit DeWitt also has some thick smoke as well. The Rider and Cortinar definitely have lighter damage here. But Fuyuzake is still in this fight, and this APD as well, still putting rounds into my force here. Let's take a look here. So we sunk the Icky, which is highlight of the day here. Heavy fires on the Wit DeWitt. Sunk the couple AKs, a DD, heavy damage to the Fuyuzake. One of the APD goes down as well. I'll take it. Great job by these outdated, kind of second-rate ships from the Dutch Navy. Good job, guys. Now hopefully they can make it home without being sunk by air attack. Looks like Cortinar gets spotted by a Japanese sub on their way back, but they do not get hit by torpedoes, which is great. Looked like that task force may have divided into two, into a escort task force and a regular task force, which tells me that some of those ships are probably pretty badly damaged there that just engaged in that battle. Anyway, we're on to the AM air phase. Air battle for Rangoon. This has been bloody the last 2 days. Looks like it continues to be a hard-fought battle. Lots of planes. Looks like they're going down on either side. Thunderstorms over the Hex. 3-3, even trade there. And I'll always take a 3-3 over a friendly Hex because I'm much more likely to have pilots that survive compared to when you're flying over a hostile Hex. Lightning sweeps, but don't do any damage. Again, go in. And again, they don't manage to down that 0, which is disappointing. Sweeps and bombing. As usual, we're just going to skip through these unless some look especially interesting. They're the usual targets, the usual planes, so there's nothing really new to talk about here. Just him continuing to suppress my airfields, continuing to do damage to my airfields, preventing me from building those forts up. And as I said before, he's really good about sweeping them as well, preventing me from putting any cap over those hexes to protect them, because they'll just get swept before those bombers come. Again, it's a very large bombing group attacking Cyan. They're doing a little more damage here, having a little more success, which is a shame. Not like what I want to see. Another sweep here. The second sweep has been more effective on Rangoon, but not this time. I take out an Oscar for no losses of my own. Playing Chow and bombing again. Sweeping. And my own sweeps. Oh, so 3 Catalinas, I guess still set to naval attack. I didn't intend that. But going after this little landing force right here. Unfortunately, the Zeros managed to... I guess, no Zeros. Yeah, Zeros. The Zeros managed to fend them off pretty easily. So... I believe this is actually me sweeping, trying to get rid of these Zeros over this Hex so I can bring my bombers in, but my sweeping planes are having no luck against these Zeros, just getting handled really easily. I lose 4 planes to no gain, which is disappointing. So I have most of my bombers going after... how do you pronounce that? Pisenu Loke? Sure, we're going to call it that. Most of my planes are going after the airfields, but I have one going after the ground forces as well. They do good damage, 108 casualties as a good result for just one bombing squadron. Here they go after the airbase, do very little damage to that airbase, that's disappointing. Looks like these groups are doing a little bit more. Glyn 167F, of course, French twin-engine bomber. Very little damage to the airfield, but 5 Tojos destroyed on the ground? That's a great success. The Tojo is a scary plane, especially if the Japanese can build it en masse. I've played some games against Japanese players that were producing, and this was in stock, not focus specific, but producing over 200 Tojos a month, and just used them to great effect, sweeping everything they could. I really had nothing that could stand in its way. So it can be a scary plane. Minor damage there. I wonder if it's bad weather here. I should have checked the weather. No, moderate rain. Could be better. We take out another Tojo. But it's not thunderstorms. That's one of the things I need to do a better job of in my play, is checking the weather reports to see what the weather is going to be like in each area, as I decide what to do with my planes. Bombing continues. And we're on to the PM airface. Here we go again. Me trying to get to this hex. It's not going to work, obviously. Oh, never mind. Somehow my B-17s make it in. And looks like they're doing a great job against this runway. Killing some Japanese fighters on the ground. Oh yeah, 26 damage. 6 Zeros destroyed on the ground. 4 Vals destroyed on the ground. 30 runway hits. Great job, B-17s. I think what happened here is my Warhawks were up at, I think, around 15,000. Group Patrol at 15,000 as well. And I think the Zeros went after my my P-40s, and the B-17s just flew right underneath them and smashed that airfield. Another strike here. And again, yeah, they go after my fighters, but my bombers are managing to sneak right underneath here and do good work. So another 12 damage, 4 destroyed on the ground. Great job, Liberators. My fighters, however, are taking it on the chin. Absolutely no success against these Zeros in the air, just destroying those airframes on the ground. Sub-attack near Johnston Island, a couple of hits on this Japanese I-boat. I believe this is a resupply task force for Wake. Oh no! One of my destroyers that did such a good job earlier today at Minato takes a torpedo from a Japanese I-boat. I imagine it's going to go down. Usually it only takes 1 torpedo. Yep. We got the sinking animation and the message that it sunk. Well, it took out a CVE today, so it's a good trade. So here we have this some combat. This is new combat, new hex being contested near Cheongsa. I've left some of my forces in this area in some of this rough terrain, and he takes 1,300 AV against my 2 core with 462 combined. And yeah, I come out way ahead here. 1,161 casualties on his port, 961 in mine. The real story here is 209 squads disabled compared to my 62. That means if he tries to attack again, the odds are going to be even worse for him. It really goes to show you how much of a difference terrain can make in the outcomes of these kind of ground battles. Again, we have this. Hex has already had some attacks. My core are definitely weakened, so they may get pushed back. Oh yeah, look at the AV fall during the combat. They may get pushed back. Yep, they certainly do. He had 2-to-1 odds. They lose quite a few troops. 470 combat squads destroyed. Oh, that hurts to see. He only takes 11 destroyed with 232 disabled. So, pretty convincing victory. My troops retreat back into this road, which is also rough terrain, which is good, but I'm sure he'll continue to chase them. Nothing much I really can do with these. I can't really move them out of the path of this army in time, so they're just going to buy time with blood, really. I can't. I'm not going to be able to outpace him trying to get back to the relative safety of Cyan, so they're just going to become a unrecognizable road feature right here. Japanese deliberate attack at Ambon. I'm down to 49 AV with this little regiment here, and it goes on 0. So even though he didn't take the Hex this turn, it's only a matter of time now. My combat ready squads here are pretty much wiped out, either destroyed or disabled. I imagine he'll be able to take the Hex next turn, and then it's good night for Ambon. Japanese shock attack at Guam. He is just... it's frustrating to see him do this, though he had good results today. 14 of my squads destroyed to his 2. Really, this was good results for him, and will continue to get better as he attacks. I just really wish that he had rested his troops a little bit more, because I think he's making this more painful for himself than it needs to be. I got a little bit worried about Guam. I'm like, hey, is it just not balanced correctly? Is there something wrong with the scenario? So I loaded up the game as the Japanese versus the AI. Like, hey, I'm going to try to take Guam as well. I'm going to use the same forces. And I took it on December 13th, so exactly a month earlier than this date right here. The key for me was to use the Guam cover force to bombard the Hex, let the troops rest for a turn after they came off to heal some disablements, and then attack the next day, and Guam fell. So not very hard to take, just if you use your bombardments in a smart way and let your troops rest up their disablements so they're at full attack value. Apologize about the length of this turn. I feel it really kind of got away from me, especially with that naval battle at the beginning. Some bombardment at Samarinda, doing good damage to his troops. Keep bombarding, guys. Good job. And that looks like the turn. Again, a little bit longer today. Thanks for sticking with me. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the Discord.